This is to some extent a prepared speech because I felt more comfortable that way. So if I glance to my left, you'll know why. Or if I stare to my left, you'll definitely know why. Okay, now I've always defined marketing thus: you define your product, you define your market, and you figure out the best way to introduce the one to the other. You know, pretty simple and straightforward as far as that goes. Bit of preamble. Between 1991 and 2009, I ran my own small marketing consultancy. It was easy back then. Company X, a software developer, for example, would spot what it perceived to be a gap in the market, what it thought was an industry requirement for, say, a manufacturing, distribution, and financial management system. And off they'd go and build one, and then engage me, and we'd fix a budget, work out how much of it to spend on ads and exhibitions and trade shows and all of that, and mail shots and so on, and you know, stick it on a spreadsheet, and off we'd go. And at the end of the year, you'd sort of tot up how much you'd spent versus what your sales were looking like, and judge the success or otherwise of the campaign on that basis. So far, so simple. In 2009, I took the corporate shilling and spent the next 10 years happily editing and writing a travel magazine. So I definitely took my eye off the marketing ball. But setting up shop again a couple of years ago as a freelance journalist and copywriter with a marketing background, if you like, was something of a shock. I've always had confidence in my writing ability. You know, the ability to string words together is I hope not in question, at least on the page. But my marketing nous was rusty, to say the least, and I very quickly decided that I had to learn a bunch of new stuff and unlearn some of of what I took to be Holy Writ. I still think my original definition of marketing holds true, but there has been a sea change in how companies engage with their clients and prospects and what those clients and prospects expect. The pandemic has accelerated that process, but I think it was already well underway. This next statement is a bit cart before horse, but two watchwords which I believe with hindsight will prove to characterize 2021 and actually did 2020 as well, and hopefully beyond, are dialogue and transparency. I think it's all about that. Keep those in mind and you won't go far wrong, I've written down here. But to specifics, in no particular order, I think there is a need now to be much more targeted, to think hard about your customers, not just who they are and what business they're in, but how that business may change going forward, how it may morph into a different shape. You know, think about, and also, you know, at the same time, think harder about where and how you're spending your time and money promoting to them, and be ready to change that if it's no longer working. It's no longer enough just to sort of say at the beginning of the year, we're going to do this. Let's just diarize this for the, you know, for the whole of the year, and then see where you end up. See where you end up at the end of it. I think it needs to be more, you know, monitoring needs to be more focused, more hands-on. So that's point one. Two, be open. Admit to, I mean, some of this is me repeating myself, okay, but admit to your own hopes and fears. I think that's key, and your problems and your weaknesses. And the chances are that if you open up, I've found this in my own experience. If you open up to your clients and prospects, the chances are that your clients and prospects will open up to you. There is this new spirit of openness, and I think that we can actually, to sound cynical, we can use it to our advantage. Number three, don't assume you have all the answers. Be prepared to learn. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Four, mutate. Mold and change both what you offer and your marketing strategies to fit your client's new shape. I'm thinking particularly about Joe, actually, on this. You know, Joe was a photographer who's not here, but Joe is, you know, first and foremost a photographer, but he's not really, not anymore. He's an image maker. You know, photography is part of that, but he's also doing CGI, and you know, he's an image maker now, and you know, his business has morphed to reflect that. Elliot, in a way, is the same. I think, you know, Elliot is a, you know, a travel consultant, but he's to a degree. I mean, okay, Elliot, you can come back to me with this, but a bit of an agony aunt in some ways. You know, helping people through their travel problems is now, you know, part and parcel of your job, because of cancellations, because of this, because of that. So, you know, there has to be a more flexible approach. 5, use new ways to spread your message. And I'm not just talking about regular posts on LinkedIn and Facebook, but the content and nature of those posts. Again, I'm looking at Elliot, who posts quite a lot on Facebook, but he also, from time to time, he'll do you know, sort of a live stream, or he'll, you know, just you know, think outside the box. Don't just think in terms of promotion all the time. You know, if there's something funny that's loosely connected with your business, your industry, stick it up there. Give people a laugh. You know, just it's about engagement. It's about, you know, and you know, being interesting, I suppose. So 6, give your clients and prospects agency. Make them feel that they have a part to play in your story. You know, if we are, to borrow a phrase, all in this together, then ask for feedback, you know, for input. You know, it maintains your relevance, for one thing. But, you know, just ask, you know, what, okay, this is what we were doing for you then. What do you need for us to do for you now? What do you know, what are your requirements now? What, you know, how do we assess, how do we address your needs at this point? And 7 and 8 are the same, really. Be empathic and be kind. Okay, so that's really that. Turning to, those are all a bit abstract, but turning to some specifics. In terms of trends that I see in 2021 that I think are set to continue. One, actually, I've already alluded to it, is live streaming. I think there's going to be a lot more of that, because it's interesting and it works. But don't sell. Offer something of value. You know, like, sorry, Elliot, I'm still focusing on you. You know, a half-hour live stream on the glories of Iceland. You know, you don't have to sell your service. You're telling people stuff they want to know about a trip to Iceland. It's as simple as that. You know, if they decide that on the strength of it they want to buy, the chances are they're going to buy from you. Easy. Where was I? Oh yes. 2, giving back. I think, you know, engage and be seen. I've written down here: engage and be seen to engage with the community at large. Do stuff that's outside of your obvious remit. During the pandemic, you know, during 2020, that happened a lot. That, you know, people like McLaren and Rolls-Royce turning their production lines over to the manufacturing of ventilators and stuff like that. It's great PR. And it's really, I mean, in a way, there's nothing new under the sun. It's the modern day equivalent of, say, Norwich Union, you know, launching a raft for a charity raft race or something, and you know, they get a few column inches out of it, and they donate to charity, and you know, everybody feels good about themselves. But that's you know, in a way, what's happening now is not totally dissimilar to what was happening then, but it's more focused, and it's cleverer, if you will. 3, ramping up content marketing. I think content marketing is the way forward. I mean, it's just big, and it's getting bigger. But again, the watchword is don't sell. It's about posting stuff that's of interest. It's about dialogue. It's about engaging, you know, with your clients and prospects. And I think on that basis, people need to let their customers and prospects contribute to content marketing, even if it is critical. Because, and actually, to expand on that point, if you don't, then someone else will. You know, I mean, going back to HPB, they had their own Facebook page, and they agonized because various people were launching their own Facebook pages, which were highly critical in some cases of what the company was offering. Now, you can't stop that happening, but if you can bring it somehow in-house by allowing grit in your own oyster, if you like, then you stand a better chance of fending off criticisms and brickbats from other sources. Just try and bring it in-house. You at least got a chance of moderating what's being said about you. So yes, I think that's it. And then, obviously, if there is criticism, and within any successful business there will be, say what you're going to do about it. It's all about openness. It's about dialogue. And number 4, get personal, but also put a bit of effort into it. We all love new stuff, and marketers actually are particularly susceptible. Oh, look at the shiny thing. We all get off on that. But what is new ages quickly. Email, social media being cases in point. And conversely, what was old hat can very quickly become new again after a short period in lying fallow. I was going to say in furlough, but that's an overused term. I believe, for what it's worth, that this will once again prove to be the year of the handwritten note or the handwritten letter. Where possible, adding a personal comment, here and there. If you know somebody's got a dog that's their pride and joy, then how's things with Misty? How's Fido? I don't know. Or somebody's got a daughter getting married or something, and you happen to know it. Then or how was the wedding? Just try and personalize it. It's part of reaching out. And right now, I think we all want to do that, and we all want it, and we all kind of want it done to us. And that, gentlemen and Lorna, is that.